Please join me in Gasho. Human beings are such that, maddened by the passions of greed, we desire to possess. Maddened by the passions of anger, we hate that which should not be hated. Seeking to go against the law of cause and effect, led astray by the passions of ignorance, we do what should not even be thought. But the person who purposely thinks and does what he or she should not, saying that it is permissible because of the Buddha's wondrous vow to save the foolish being, does not truly desire to reject the world, nor does such a one consciously feeling himself a being of karmic evil. Hence, such people have no aspiration for the nembutsu nor for the Buddha's vow. Thus, however they engage in the nembutsu with such an attitude, it is difficult for them to attain birth in the next life. Nam mandats, nam mandats, nam mandats, nam mandats, nam. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our last Sunday service for the month of August. I can't believe it, but today marks the end of the first month since Cindy and I moved here. We have enjoyed getting to know you all and realize that there are still so many members to meet in person, as we have only met a small portion of you in person. Well, sadly, as many of us may have access to TVs or the internet, we have seen that a lot of bad news has befallen on our nation. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, what appears to be a racially motivated shooting of Jacob Blake took place. And then the murder of 2 protesters at the hands of a 17-year-old wielding an AR-15. Coronavirus has not gone down. A terrible hurricane has hit Louisiana and devastated many towns and cities. We recently lost a very talented actor, Chadwick Boseman, who is probably best known for portraying King T'Challa or Black Panther in the Marvel movies, to cancer. It is a time of great sadness for all of us. When looking at the news and seeing all of the hurt, torment, strife, and suffering all around us, it can take a large toll on us, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. When we see authority figures committing heinous acts of murder, when racism is so visible in our society, when we look at the newspaper and seeing all of the numbers of infections and deaths continue to rise, it is very easy for any of us to fall into despair. I am continuing the collection of letters written by Shinran Shonin to his followers, and the gosan that I quoted from today is from letter 19. In this, we see that Shinran acknowledges the negative aspect of the human condition. We are all maddened by our own egos. We want things to be a certain way. We always think that we are right. Then, when we don't get our way, we get mad. We even get angry. And then we are driven to bouts of rage at times. Shinran acknowledges this aspect about us as humans, but at the same time, he once again disapproves of the notion that we are allowed to act as we want because we think Amida Buddha will save us regardless of the things that we do. We are human, yes. When we see news like this, it brings us great anger, tears of sadness, disgust, all of these emotions. That is okay. We are allowed to feel these things. Just because we are Buddhist does not mean that we are these stone pacifists who just sit in a dazed out state watching the world go by. This is false. We also get angry. We get angry at people. We get angry at our friends, families, co-workers, politicians. We all suffer from this condition of the three poisons. On the one hand, this kind of legitimacy needs to be carefully monitored because we cannot fall into the trap where we allow ourselves to begin committing horrible crimes because we know that Amida Buddha accepts us for who we are. However, it doesn't mean that we as a society should just sit back and watch injustice unfold either. I have always found it to be difficult to approach these situations from a totally neutral standpoint. As a minister, I must make no distinction to who comes to me for spiritual guidance and care. I may loathe a political party. I may loathe a person's opinion on the Black Lives Matter movement because they don't agree with my opinion. So my greatest challenge as a minister is putting the ego-driven self on hold for a moment and give spiritual care to any who is asking for it, regardless of their stances on certain issues. I will always strive to spread the teachings of Shinran Shonin towards any and all who seek to be born in Amida Buddha's Pure Land. As followers of the Pure Land Way, I ask all of us, including myself, to deeply consider Shinran Shonin's words. And when I read the letters he writes to his followers, I hear his stern warning of becoming too lazy or manipulating the teachings to fit our own agendas. We as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists have heard the phrase interdependence a lot. I'm certain some members might be saying, will you quit with that subject already? In my lifetime, I feel that now more than ever, we must once again check ourselves in where we stand in our society. How do the teachings really affect us? What does it mean to be universally embraced by Amida's wisdom and compassion? Shinran outright denies that it means rejoicing with hedonism, anger, causing harm, and committing acts of evil intentionally because we think we have some kind of golden ticket. The 18th vow, the primal vow, is not a golden ticket or a get-out-of-jail-free card that gives us permission to just do whatever we want. It also does not mean that we just sit back on our rears and just be lazy. When Shinran, in his letter, talks about the desire to reject the world, I do not believe his meaning was to retreat to a cave or to shut ourselves away in our houses and just to watch TV all day long. If anything, he was implying with this phrase that there is a turnabout that occurs when one only truly embraces the path of the nembutsu. I believe that he was talking about changing our perspective first about ourselves and realizing how incapable we are to attain enlightenment on our own. Then taking full refuge in Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. In doing so, we sincerely desire to discontinue engaging in the evil we commit and to, in a way, better ourselves in this life. Not because we think that doing good acts and deeds will get us closer to the Pure Land, but because we come to the realization that being even as lowly as ourselves, we are still embraced by never-ending wisdom and compassion. With all of this in mind, I hope that we continue to strive to better ourselves and continue to deeply listen to the teachings of Shinran Shonin. I'm not saying don't get mad. I'm not saying that anger is never justified. I'm not saying that one should not go out and protest because an injustice has been committed. All of these actions are important to further the cause of progressive change within society. What I am asking is that as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, we engage in these activities with the wise words of Shinran Shonin in our minds. When we engage in protest and the demand for justice, let's do our best to not have it come from a place of the three poisons, but with the understanding of wisdom and compassion given to us unceasingly by Amida Buddha. Now more than ever, we must deeply listen to Shinran Shonin's words, and more than ever, realize the great wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I will see you all again in September. Please continue to be safe. Please continue to wear masks, practice social distancing, wash your hands, wear masks when you go to the grocery store. And above all, call your family members, call your friends, check in with each other. Let each other know that you care about them. There is a lot of horrible news that's happening right now in the world. There's a lot of strife. There is a lot of pain. However, I encourage us all to really deeply reflect in the message of interdependence and simply letting a loved one know that you care for them, sending a card to them, FaceTiming them will go a long way in practicing and in engaging in the act of nembutsu. So I thank you all for listening to today's Sunday service. I will see you all in September. I sincerely hope that I get to meet more of you. And once again, from Cindy and myself, thank you all to the Tacoma Buddhist Temple, to the members of the Tacoma Buddhist Temple for welcoming us to your home. I would like to conclude this Sunday service by reading Rennyo Shonin's Shonin Ichiryu no Sho, or a chapter on the teaching of Shinran Shonin. Shinran Shonin taught that the essence of Jodo Shinshu is Shinjin. The reason is that by abandoning all other practices and completely entrusting ourselves in Amida Buddha, our spiritual rebirth is assured by Amida Buddha through the inconceivable power of the primal vow. This is known as entering the ranks of the truly assured at the very moment of Shinjin. Therefore, all utterances of the nembutsu should be understood only as expressions of gratitude for Amida's assurance of our spiritual rebirth. With reverence, I remain. I would now like to read Shonin Ichiryu Sho in Japanese. Shonin Ichiryu no gokanke no omomuki wa shinjin no motte honto serare soro. Sono yue wa moro moro no zogyo o nage sutete isshin ni mida ni kimyo sureba. Fukashigi no ganriki to shite Buddha no kata yori ojo wa jijou se shimeta mo. Sono kurai o ichigen pokki nyūshō jōshiju tomo shakushi. Sono ue no shōmyō nen Buddha ryorai wa ga ojo o sadame tamaishi. Gon hojin no nen Buddha koko